Hey folks, so my last update wasn't really an update. It was the fireworks. I don't really know where else to put it. I could have put it in with my random Monday videos, but I had already stated that my floodplain construction time-lapse video would be July 18th. So I would have had to put this afterward, otherwise it would have been, outdated. I guess maybe I suppose I could have postponed the other videos, just moved one of them ahead. Either way. So I decided to stick it in. Otherwise it would be like, end of the month or whatever. It'd be kind of a month out of date. Because it's July 1st. So I wanted to put it as close to July 1st as I could. So it was actually a lot different this year. It was a pretty good show this year. There were a lot less cars. I remember last time I went 3 years ago, we've had a 2-year break. One because of COVID, and the other one because I'm not sure if it was still because of COVID or because we weren't allowed to celebrate Canada that year. But either way, the year before that, the last year that we had them, I got a little later than I normally did, and there was a bunch of cars parked around the spot that I wanted to sit, where I normally sit. But this year, I think they stopped the cars from going in sooner, because there were a lot less cars, but there are a lot more people there. When they're setting up, they usually have the ladder truck sitting down right by the fireworks, and they get the ladder extended all the way up with the big Canada flag hanging from it. And once it gets dark before they start, they gotta move the truck and everything. So this year they just kind of parked it in the middle of the baseball diamond, and it stayed there throughout the whole show. So they didn't have to move it at that point. And another thing they did differently is we actually had music ahead of time, and I'm hearing it and I'm thinking, I can't show that because I'll get a copyright claim on my video or something. But it didn't really matter because I showed the beginning of it in time lapse anyways, to show everybody kind of piling into the area and that, choosing their spot. So that was kind of nice, listening to the music, but at the same time, towards the end, I couldn't hear the music anyways, because there was a lot of kids around me this year, and it was very, very loud, so I couldn't even hear the music anymore. So, they set off one firework just to give us a signal we're about to begin, and they played O Canada, which is kind of cool. I haven't done that before. Well, I didn't have to stand up because I was already standing. Somebody I talked to in town here all the time, he showed up, and I get off the scooter every once in a while, stretch my legs and that, and I just happened to be doing that just as he showed up, so we would stand there talking, and I ended up standing the whole time during the fireworks, my head up like this, and my neck was so sore by the end of it. But I didn't have to stand for Canada. But I didn't take my hat off. I didn't even thought about it until halfway through. You can probably hear me talking about that in the video. It's a little late now. So, oops on that one. I didn't know. They've never done that before, so I wasn't prepared. I didn't expect that to happen. But at the same time, it should be a natural reaction. It's kind of what you do. So, that was pretty cool. But it cut out a couple times. And after the second one, you can hear me say, "That's it, you're fired." That was kind of funny. But it was pretty good. It was a really good show this year. I really enjoyed it. But because there weren't as many cars, there was more people, it took a long time to go down the street. There was like 100,000, not quite that many, exaggerated, but there was a lot of people all around me, and trying not to run anybody over, just match their speed. And eventually I wasn't too bad. Once I get to the main street, it's not too bad. It's a wider area, so I can go around people, and that it's a whole lot easier. Then I got to Timmy's and there's like almost nobody there. It's like, holy smokes, I figured, everybody grab a coffee on the way home or something. Because there were a lot of out-of-town people. So if you notice in the video, there's somebody in front of me with a cat. That's Barney. I see him not often, but I see him once in a while. He's got the cat on a leash and he's walking him around. I'm not sure how he kind of took to the fireworks, but, cats generally don't like them. But they have a carrier to put them in, so I don't have to worry about them trying to run off or anything. So I don't know how that worked out, but it was kind of cool seeing him. Hey, Barney. I think there was something else I was going to say about that. I don't really remember. So I'm kind of afraid to drive the monster right now. It's just falling apart. I got the tube I've been waiting for. It actually came in a 2-pack, so I got 2 of them. So I checked, and it fits the bolt almost perfectly. There's just a tiny, tiny bit of play. That's a good thing, though. I'll show you why. So the bolt size is pretty good. The inside diameter, I'll have to look. I don't remember. But whatever it was, it fits the bolt good. This is the 5/16 bolt. And the outer diameter is supposed to be 12 millimeters. The inside diameter of the bearing is supposed to be 12 millimeters. It almost barely goes inside it. So what I'm going to do, I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to get the grinder out and shave it down a little bit. Oh yeah, also, it doesn't fit the... doesn't fit the washer, so I'm going to have to get washers to fit this. That's no big deal. That's the cheap route to go. So what I'm going to do is, with my old spacers that I put on originally, that little tiny steel tube, tin tube, whatever it was, where I cut a groove down the center so I could squish it against the bolt, that's what I'm thinking I might have to do with this. I'll just cut a groove all the way down it, then I can compress it enough that I can get it inside here. And because there's a little bit of play, it leaves me room to actually do that. So what I'm going to do is, this will be the easy part. So what I'm going to do is, put everything together first. Put the bearings in with the spacer in between them. So I can compress, as tight as I want, and I'm not going to damage the bearings. And then I'll put the tube inside it, and just have it as part of this, so it's all together as one unit. And then it should be easier just to slip onto the bolt from there. So that's the plan. And if that doesn't work out, like I say, this was a 2-pack. I don't even remember how much this cost me. They're just plain old steel tubes. That's all they are. So if that doesn't work out, then I got another one to play with. Experiment in some other way. So it's too late now. I kind of want to do this right away because I'm getting so worried about driving the monster right now. I got my one back tire. Keeps going flat. It's got a very slow leak in it. It's not flat, but I got to put air in it every couple days, so it's not holding air. And I couldn't do that today because the tube is shifted, so the valve stem's on an angle, and it's just not sticking out enough for me to get the air pump tip onto it, so I can't put air in it anymore. So no problem. Change the back tires. I got to put the new tires on anyways, but I want to repaint the rims. When I did the repainting last time, all I did was paint the outer half of it. I didn't paint the inside, but there's a big area of paint that's peeling off of it, so I want to paint the whole thing this time. So that's going to take me a couple days. One day to actually do it, and the second day just kind of wait for the paint to dry, I guess. So that's an easy fix. I haven't got to it yet, but the front has to be done. It just has to be done. And now that I know I can get stuff like this, I am going to Well, that would have been nice if it fit. I'm going to get another piece, inside diameter to match these bolts. And of course I don't have any available. But my good bolts anyways, the new ones I bought. I'll figure out what size those are. Find the inside diameter to match that. And then, there's one. Of course it's got a nut on it. So there's way too much play there, so I gotta get a smaller size. Figure out what that is. And then match the outside diameter to the inside diameter of the tube that it goes through. And that'll solve the problem of my spacers. But I might not go with steel, because if it does, it's going to rattle a lot, kind of like it is right now, because my other, for whatever reason, the one that I made isn't really working all that well, and there's a lot of play in it. And it's rattling like crazy. Another problem I have with that one front tire being flat, it's destroyed the tire now. The sidewall is separating from it. It's still got pretty good tread on most of it, but right where the tread meets the sidewall, there's about that much, and then there's, you can see the cords inside the tire. And I pushed on it the other day to see how bad it was, and it just broke. So I'm driving now, it's like thump, 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 thump. And that part, that's the side that's got the spacer that's not actually working properly. So it's making that move, so it's going bang, 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 bang. It's really annoying. So I'm not even sure which side to fix first, because the other side, there's so much movement in it, and the spot weld has come off my bolt where I put it through, that everything goes onto. So I don't know which side to work on first, but at least now I think I have everything that I need, so I can actually get started. It's just a matter of getting the motivation, but it has to be done. So I just, like I say, I'm afraid to drive the monster now, because I'm still worried that it's gonna fall apart. Something's gonna break. But as far as the steering bar breaking, I got looking at that situation. It actually happened at the right time, because I went out for a night drive the night before. If it broke at night, it would have been more of a problem for me. It would have been easier with traffic, but seeing what I was doing, it would have been more of an issue. I do have lights with me. I bring my headlight with me, and flashlights I stick in my pocket. I'll always bring those with me when I go out at night, just in case. But it still wouldn't have been, a pleasant experience. And the next day, that was the day before, that'd be the last day of June. So the next day was fireworks day. I had to have the monster working for that day, so it happened at the right time. Because if it had happened that day, it would have delayed everything that I was doing. And if it happened, during the fireworks event, which I tend to have problems with the monster that particular night. You remember, the first time I went to leave and my lights wouldn't work. That's when, as soon as I turned the lights on, it would go into air mode, so I had to drive home with only my overhead spotlight on, blinding everybody. But I did have a strobe light on the back, so I was playing for the back too. But, it's just not fun when stuff like that happens. I think that was it. As far as that tire coming apart, I can't change it. Because until I get the bearing steering issue solved, I can't put any new tires on that, because it's just going to destroy those too. So, I gotta wait until everything's fixed and get the ball joints done properly before I can put those new tires on. I got my new street tires, they're still good. I'll put them on. But, I can't do that until this problem is solved. So as far as the lights go, the side lights that aren't working, I never got around to doing those before fireworks night. But I got thinking, because the reason I didn't do that is because it was just going to be a temporary fix, because I didn't want to take the time of putting those weatherproof plugs on, weather sealed plugs. So I was just going to do a temporary fix, but I got thinking about that afterward. I don't even need plugs on those lights, because the wiring harness has got plugs all over it for this and that. It's designed for taking the scooter apart. I'm never going to take that back part apart, so I don't even need those plugs on there. So I'm just going to get some wire, just cut the length that I need, and just fill the gap with wire, right? Put some heat shrink tubing on it, good to go. So I don't even need to put plugs on those. The front, I probably don't, but I'm going to. That's where I'm going to use my clamp on, because it's a splitter as well. I'm going to use those, because I do take the front panel off, but I just kind of put it off to the side, rather than unplugging everything, but that's why it's got plugs on it. And with the front headlights, those plugs I showed, they're getting pretty corroded. I think I'm just going to do the same thing with that. I'm just going to replace them with wire, because I'll never take that front panel off. The only time I take it off is when I'm taking the front bumper off, and it never comes off completely anyways. I just duct tape it to the other panel, because the clips are broken from when I hit the wood pile, and the whole front clip bent forward, they snap, so they're just not there anyways. It's just the one panel, it kind of goes into a groove on the other panel. That's all that's holding the top of it together. The clips are completely gone. And then at the bottom, it's bolted with the two bumper bolts. That's what holds the bottom. So it's all held together that way. So when I take the bumper off, that front panel stays on anyway. So I don't even need those plugs, right? So there's no point in even putting plugs on them. I just replace them with wire. Nice and simple, done. Don't have to worry about any other problems with them. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that. But I did buy these specifically for those front signal lights. I ain't going to use them on those. But those are inside. They're not subjected to the salt spray from the road, so I don't have to worry about them corroding. I shouldn't anyways. I'll take a look at them for sure, but it shouldn't be a problem. And if they are, maybe I'll just wire those up too. I don't know. Because like I said, I never take that panel off the monitor. I just remove it from the front and push it off to the side, and it stands up there pretty good. So I guess that's what I'll do. And if I ever get to it, I want to put the same signal lights on the back of the monitor, and I'll be using those as well. Because I have to tap into the signal lights on the back. So I guess that's all I got. As far as the monster goes, monster updates. I'm glad nothing happened today, because I forgot to turn my cameras on. Zach and Ken were heading out at the same time I was, so I was talking to them, and I put my cameras in, then put everything away. I was going to put air in the tire, and the valve stem was kind of up near the top, so I moved the monster forward a bit to do that, and then I found out that there's not enough room to get the pump on it. So I just left from there. I kind of forgot to actually power up the cameras. Put them in and everything, but I forgot to power them up. So that kind of sucked. But like I say, nothing happened today anyway, so didn't miss anything. I would have been upset. I did have a couple nice days. I was heading out of town, and I was looking off to the side, and when I looked forward, I saw two fawns, two young white-tailed deer, very young, crossing the road. Well, actually, one crossed the road, the other kind of ran down the road, opposite direction I was coming from, or, yeah, same direction I was headed. And then a third one crossed. Well, I thought, oh, that was kind of cool. But when I checked the video later, when I wasn't looking, Mommy crossed the road first. And then the three fawns come out after that. That was kind of special. I really enjoyed that. And I'm not sure if it was the same day. I stopped down at the river up at the soccer field, and there's a couple people in a boat and they were just coming in. And one guy, he wasn't working very well. His legs were pretty red, so I don't know if it was because he was sunburned or if he was injured, but he wasn't able to help pull the boat up the hill. So I decided to help out. They got a rope on the front of the boat, so I just tie it to my trailer hitch, and I'll see if I can pull it. And I told him, I said, you might have to help it at the steep part right at the beginning, but no, the monster had no problem pulling that. It wasn't as much friction as I expected it to be. So I pulled it up to the truck for him. Pretty grateful for that. So it's just perfect timing. I just got there at the right time. It was perfect timing to help them out. That was kind of cool. So one more thing that I can think of that happened is there's a construction truck. I'm not sure what the name on the side is. My eyes are too blurry to see it. They're red trucks. They're like gravel trucks. They got the big hopper on the back, 18-wheelers, and they're red with the yellow name logo on the driver's door. It's too small, I can't read what it says, so I'm not sure what company it is. But every once in a while, one of those truck drivers will wave to me. I don't know if it's the same driver all the time, but he always waves to me when he sees me. So I was sitting out on the highway, I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before, watching the traffic go by, and I see one of those trucks coming. I'm watching him, sure enough, he's waving, so I wave back, and I got a couple honks. Air horn honks. Yeah, more noise that day. I guess I don't know if it's the same driver or not. If you watch my videos, there's your shout out. So, that was kind of cool. I think that's it. I don't think I had anything else to talk about. I can't think of anything. So I guess I'll end here. Thanks for watching, guys.